Well, I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to have you here. I am Jessica Laskow with Maven House Events. We're so happy to have everyone here with us for a really special fashion focused episode of Ask Maven House. If everyone is just joining us from lunch break, or if you guys are listening to this at another time, we're so excited that you're here. And we're going to give everyone just a few minutes to jump on, and I'll start with a quick intro on myself and the Maven House team. So I, of course, am Jessica. I am a planner based in Charleston, South Carolina, working with Maven House Events. Maven House is a modern event planning company, and they are based up in New England and just recently expanded into Charleston. So I'm really excited to be with Maven House to really help them kind of expand in this market. I've personally been a planner for the last 6 years, so really being able to partner with them down here has been such a treat. But while we're on the topic of Charleston, I am so thrilled to be joined today by a very special guest, Emily Kotarski. She is a Charleston-based dress designer who has designed fashion-forward bridal pieces that have caught the eyes of Vogue and Martha Stewart weddings. Emily studied at Parsons, the New School for Design, and her designs are known for having really classically feminine silhouettes and also really artfully designed embellishments. So today's webinar is really meant to be kind of an immersive group experience. So if you have any questions along the way, nothing is off the table, feel free to ask. We're so excited to have everyone joining us. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Emily Kotarski.
Hello, I'm Emily. It is great to be here. This is so fun just to chat. Everything fashion is always a good time. Brief background about me. I came to Charleston when I was looking to start my business. I've been sewing my whole life and designing, went to school at Parsons, like you mentioned, and then really just knew that bridal was the avenue I wanted to be in. I actually, when I was first out of college, I worked at a maternity wear company. So it was just like complete opposite of what I'm doing now, just kind of getting my feet in the doors somewhere out of school, designing. And obviously that wasn't where it was at for me. So then after that, I started working at a bridal shop just directly with brides to see what brides were wanting one-on-one. And that was where I was really able to come up with this custom design experience idea, because a lot of brides would come in and love the top of one dress and not the skirt of another. And so at the end of the day, some designers don't allow or aren't as flexible with their customization options. So that's kind of where I came up with the idea to offer a platform where brides can come in and really get to start from scratch, from the bottom up, on exactly what they wanted. And that's what brought me to Charleston to start that. My mother-in-law moved here. They're from the South, my in-laws. And so they were like, you should really check out the Charleston wedding industry. It's huge. And me living in New York didn't want to necessarily believe that. But then I came and visited and was like, oh my God, the city's amazing. There's so many weddings. Like, this is perfect. So that's what brought me down here. Jessica, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was just mentioning I'm from Connecticut as well, so I feel like just slowly we as Northerners are taking over the Charleston area as our own. So that's really great to hear that you.
City.
Yes, absolutely. So going off of that, what has been your favorite part of getting to work with brides?
I really love the one-on-one experience with brides where I'm learning about their life, how they met their fiance, where they're from. Because a lot of the times brides who live in Charleston, 9 times out of 10 might not necessarily be from here. They might be traveling from where they live to get married here, since it's also such a huge destination. Learning about them, their families, really getting to know moms, create relationships with their families, and then, building the dress of their dreams, which would be arguably one of the most important pieces of clothing they'll ever wear, is just such a special connection to have with them. So to be able to work directly with them, see them walk out the door close to their wedding day, so happy, that's kind of what makes it all worth it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And being based in Charleston, do you feel like there's anything about the Southern weddings or brides in Charleston specifically that kind of inspires you in your designs?
I really love the Charleston or the Southern wedding event, like how many events there are around the wedding. Up north, we don't do a bridal luncheon. That's just not something that we do. So I feel like the week of your wedding, you have your luncheon, you have your rehearsal dinner, you have your welcome party. There's just so many events going on with Southern brides. And I just love that. I wish that that was more of a thing up north because I would have loved the opportunity to wear more outfits.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is so true. I know my brides personally have, I mean, it's like a full weekend affair, which I think is such a special kind of part of the wedding process too, because the wedding day itself just like flies by. So with them being able to have, the longer kind of stretched out multiple events to celebrate and multiple different ways to kind of show their personal style when it comes to the bridal design is really, really cool. And it is absolutely part of Charleston for sure.
Yeah.
So walk us through what your custom design process kind of looks like. So does a bride typically come to you and they've looked at other designs and then start to feel like they want to change things? Or do they really know kind of when they come to you initially that they want custom?
Yeah. So we kind of have a wide range of clients in the sense that some have shopped for forever and decided I cannot find anything that I love in stores. I really fell in love with this silhouette, but it doesn't come in the fabric that I'm loving, or I really love the shape of a specific neckline. And maybe I'm only seeing it in one type of material. Sorry, I'm fighting a little cold too, so I'm good. Okay. Working through talking too. So that at the end of the day, with options for them based off of what they haven't been able to exactly nail down in store is important and something that they can come here and then find. And then on the other hand, I sometimes have brides who haven't stepped foot in one store before, but came here, really loved a sample that we had on the rack and said, I love this dress from your collection, but let's do it in this lace instead, or we'll customize aspects of my gowns as well. So we have brides like that.
Interesting.
And we also have brides who are like shopping on Pinterest almost, because obviously Pinterest is huge for brides. So
Right.
look and saying, I fell in love with this dress. It's made maybe in China. I don't know what the quality is going to be like once it gets here. It's coming from Etsy and it's too good to be true. Can we like make something of this sort, but in some really beautiful material? So that's a fun thing to do as well, for sure.
Yeah, and I know you've kind of incorporated the cape trend into some of your newer designs, which I'm like absolutely loving. But are there any trends kind of specifically that you're seeing for your 2023 brides or anything that, is kind of new and unexpected that you think may come in for 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. So bridal week was definitely a little crazy this year because talking to a lot of my buyers and boutique partners, they were kind of saying that they were seeing such a wide variety of sort of different details. Like beading is everywhere right now. There's a lot of different options for like minis and middies, different hem lengths, like pant options and things like that. So there's just so many different options for brides as far as we think like COVID just made anything possible. Like there's no rules anymore. Like, a bride could wear a short dress, or there's brides are more encouraged to change for an after party look, which I love. Obviously,
Absolutely.
more dresses the better.
Love. I
So
was just going to ask you about that actually. So I love that.
yeah. So I mean, I think that's definitely something that's widely trending, and just like the options are endless, it seems.
Yeah, that is so true. Is there anything on the horizon specifically for you guys that we need to know about or we should know about?
There's a few things that we have going on in the works. I think the main thing is next year we're going to be doing a little bit of a rebrand in Charleston, which will be fun.
Awesome.
At the end of the day, with our success over the last few years, we have grown such an amazing team who are all extremely talented. So sometimes when people walk in the door, they expect to work directly with me. And while I will be here for most of it. A lot of the times it is a team effort, and we have a few really amazing designers who they also have the opportunity to work for. So I think kind of this whole rebrand over a team effort here is going to kind of be what we focus on in the new year. And I think that'll be really fun and give everyone the opportunity to kind of do so many different things.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so cool. Well, I love all of this. It's so fun to kind of see what dress shopping looks like from a designer's point of view. I do know that you just got back from New York for New York Bridal Fashion Week. So tell us a little bit about what you were doing up there. And was it your first time? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, so I've actually been going to market for 5 years now. This is my fifth year. Um, so when you're there, designers present their collections to boutiques. And so these are the collections that stores will be picking up for next year. They'll be in store starting spring, summer of 2023. So these are really like the latest trends that everyone's going to be seeing in the coming year. And you just show them to a bunch of buyers, as many buyers you can get in the door. And from there, people will then book trunk shows and things like that so that our collection will be available nationwide.
That's so cool. I know I personally followed along on your trip up there and I loved kind of seeing a little bit of your behind the scenes. But what an exciting kind of experience to be able to do that. That's really great.
Fun to be back in New York. It always kind of energizes me in a way too.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Well, now to just have a little bit of fun, we're going to kind of move to a few questions that came through on Instagram and go through those in rapid fire format. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. What does your dream wedding dress look like?
Well, so I kind of had a couple wedding dresses when I got married. So I would say my dream wedding dress would be the same kind of situation on a lot of changes. But at the end of the day, the trends have changed a lot. Even just I got married in 2019. So the trends have
Okay.
changed a lot, even just in the past 3 years. So I definitely would maybe go with something a little bit more fashion forward as far as like that second or third look goes. But I really did love my ceremony dress. It was just an A-line tulle, very soft, but then it had a mock neck and it was beaded.
Do you feel like you knew exactly what you wanted when you were designing for yourself, or was it kind of a more difficult process to do for your own self?
I guess I went back and forth, and maybe that's why I chose to do a few different looks because I really loved the mock neck, but then wanted to maybe have like a V at some point. And so things like that, I was like, well, I mean, obviously, why not? I can do it. I'll just make a couple. So that's what I did. But the as far as where to start, it was hard for me to decide what embellishment that I really liked. And so I actually went to a fabric show in New York to find some lace, just where all of the fabric factories from all over the world come and show their collection of materials to designers. And so I went there and fell in love with this beading that was from France, and it's stunning. I'm obsessed with it. And so I was just like, yep, that's the one. That's what I'm going to make my dress with. And so now every time another bride chooses that beading, I'm like, oh, this is my beading too.
Oh, that is so cool. What a special kind of experience to be able to share with your personal brides too. That's awesome. Is there a bridal designer that you specifically admire?
I guess I admire a couple. I was thinking about guess different reasons why I would admire other designers. Because at the end of the day, my training at Parsons, like we were really taught not to look towards other designs to pull inspiration from and really just try to come up with new and innovative ideas. But the reasons why I think like the likes of the couture houses of, you know, Oscar de la Renta, specifically in bridal Mirrors Willinger, is their construction and their corsetry is just so amazing and inspiring in the sense that you open that dress and you're like, this corset could be worn inside out and it'd be just as beautiful. So I think that for those reasons, those designers are definitely ones that I look up to for sure.
Yes, I feel like Oscar de la Renta is a fan favorite overall. Great choice. What are your three most popular dress requests that you get from brides?
Ooh, doing custom, we get such a wide range of requests. we've recently done a lot of different colors, which is really fun. So it's a little different than a traditional bridal shop where you would walk in and say like, oh my gosh, the past 3 brides have asked for like a simple crepe fit and flare. Like we just have such a wide range of options, which is really, it makes it more fun for us. But I would say a lot of brides are still leaning toward like a really flattering v-neck. I feel like v-necks were really having a moment last few years, and I think they're still kind of trending in the sense that everyone just feels a lot really comfortable in that kind of shape. But definitely crepes and simple fabrics. I really love our crepe. It's 100% silk, so it's really, really soft. So we sell a lot of that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Is there a style that you've been dying to create but haven't quite created yet?
So I was thinking about this one because, well, let me grab this picture really quick. I recently,
Yeah, go ahead.
I style that I had this neckline I saw on a dress that Hailey Bieber wore, and I just thought it was just such a fun neckline. And so in the new collection, I did the halter with the little cutout in the middle.
Oh, yes.
I had this sketched for like maybe a year or two, and I just always kind of shoved it off, and I was really excited to finally get to do it. And so that probably would be it, because I finally put it into fabric, and I'm really obsessed with how it looks.
Amazing. I'm also obsessed with it. It is a stunner. It is very, very pretty. We love that. And it's so unique too. Like I know you said you kind of pulled it from Hailey Bieber, but it's something that I personally haven't seen a bride wear yet. So I love that it has kind of that uniqueness to it,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is wonderful. Awesome. And my next question was, what is your most unique request that you've received from a bride?
I guess the colors would be the most unique. Like a few years ago, we did a black dress, which was so pretty. I just love when brides are willing to go out of the norm and say, I feel really beautiful in this color, so that's what color I want as my wedding dress. And that's really how it should be. I think at the end of the day, like you need to feel like your most true self and beautiful self. So that was really fun. Like I said, I think color is really like the out there one. But it's fun because more and more people are daring to go that route. And like I said, I think that COVID kind of made like there are no rules anymore.
Yeah, that is such a good point. And we see that in all aspects of the wedding day too. And it's something that like I know I personally as a planner love. Like, I don't see bouquet tosses anymore. We rarely see cake cuttings anymore. It's really like about tailoring this event specifically to the couple now. And that's something that is so, so special. And that's how it should be. It's their day. We can plan a million weddings, but if their wedding doesn't reflect them as a couple, then, what are we really doing? So I love that, we're kind of seeing that in the fashion aspect as well. And especially with your custom process, you're really able to provide that unique experience for brides as well. Awesome. Well, I know we had kind of chatted about doing a little illustration to real life scenarios. So I would love for you to kind of show us some of your illustrations and talk through how you kind of start that design illustration process and then bring those visions to life.
Yeah, absolutely. So when brides leave here, at their initial consultation appointment, they leave with a really rough sketch. And so at the end of the day, when they get married, usually I'll mail them a pretty sketch of their dress that's painted and actually something that they could use as an heirloom. I just realized, please excuse my gross nail polish.
I didn't even notice.
This is actually an illustration of my ceremony dress that I had mentioned, with the high neck and the tulle skirt from my wedding. And then this was my reception look. That was a V-neck beaded. And so these little illustrations are just really fun, like I said, as gifts and stuff for brides to feel like they can remember their dress. And then this was my fun little party dress. I actually got married on New Year's Eve, and so I had to have like a midnight look. So that was my final look with the fun, just little party vibes.
That's amazing. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can see what those all look like when they came to real life. Bear with me here. Okay. Are you able to see on your end, Emily?
Yeah, perfect. So that was my reception look. Like I said, with the beaded V-neck, it was so fun.
Love that one. Through.
That was the party dress, obviously. I look like I'm
Yes.
having time by then.
You look like you're having a wonderful time, and that is a great thing. That is my personal favorite, I will say, of all of these. I just love that dress.
Thank you. And then
Yeah,
that was my ceremony look. Yeah, I loved that one
perfect.
too.
And what type of wedding venue did you have so we can kind of set the scene for people that are watching?
Yeah, it was New Year's Eve, but I'm from Philadelphia, so it was very cold. So it was a ballroom. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to have like a beautiful al fresco wedding like they can have in Charleston that time of year. Um,
Wow.
but it was yeah, ballroom right on the water in Philly. It's called Boathouse Row. It's like a really scenic area. But it was perfect.
Yeah, perfect. And I think we have one more.
Yeah, that's a full shot of the ceremony dress. Sorry, I know it's a screenshot.
There we go. That's okay. Beautiful. Awesome. I'm gonna pop out of here. Wonderful. Is there anything else that you specifically would like to share with viewers, with our brides? Any advice you would give them going into the dress shopping process?
I guess, oh my gosh, it's hard to give specific advice when everyone I feel like shops in a different kind of way. I definitely think it's a broken record from a lot of boutiques saying like, don't go to too many stores, don't overwhelm yourself with too many options. And I definitely think that's true. I think it can be really overwhelming, but at the end of the day, I do think stick to your gut. You know, if something doesn't feel right, maybe that's means custom is the option for you because you're not falling in love with something. And you know it's never fun to buy a dress and then have buyer's remorse or need to get crazy alterations done down the road because you kind of decided that you want to change it up in extreme ways. So I think at the end of the day, kind of keeping custom as an option is nice, and an open mind about that, because if something just doesn't feel 100% right, then maybe, you know, maybe you just need to make something from scratch.
Absolutely. And what kind of time frame do you recommend for brides that are shopping? When should they start looking? Should they start earlier for custom, or is it about the same?
It's about the same time because for custom, we're kind of sourcing it from beginning to end, and the final product is, you know, through it being fitted and tailored to you. Shopping in kind of the same time frame as boutiques, which is like 10 months to a year, is usually kind of our sweet spot, because instead of having to wait for it to arrive and then get alterations, kind of a slower, more spread out process of fittings throughout over that year, where it's being like actually sculpted to your body throughout the whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone so much for coming. For those that want to rewatch this webinar or share, I know we'll be able to have a YouTube link up later today for you. In the meantime, feel free to follow us on Instagram. You can follow Emily Kotarski Bridal and me at Jessica _ House Events. And thank you, Emily, for joining us. This was such a fun session. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and I know our brides are going to find this so helpful.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.